$8,000. That is the number sitting between you and a completely different financial life, and most people will spend their entire 20s and 30s never knowing it exists. Not because they are lazy, not because they do not earn enough, because 5 habits are quietly draining that number out of their hands every single year, and none of them look dangerous at first glance. Here is what makes this so damaging. When you do not have $8,000 liquid, sitting in cash, available, untouched, you pay more for everything. You finance things you should own outright, you take the first offer instead of the best one. You absorb unexpected costs on a credit card at 22% interest instead of absorbing them from savings at 0 cost. The gap between someone who is building wealth and someone who is just getting by is almost never income. It is these 5 habits. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what each one costs you in real dollars, and the specific steps to break each one this month. Habit 1. Paying the poverty premium. The poverty premium is simple. When you have no cash buffer, everything costs more. Not a little more, significantly more. Think about what happens without $8,000 in savings. Your car breaks down, you put it on a credit card at 22% interest. Your lease ends, and you cannot cover a security deposit up front, so you choose a building that does not require one and pay higher monthly rent for it. You need a new phone. You go on a payment plan instead of buying outright, which adds $30 to $40 per month for 2 years. You cannot buy in bulk because you do not have $300 to spend at once, so you pay per unit prices that are 30 to 40% higher than the bulk rate. None of these feel catastrophic individually. Together, they add up to thousands of dollars per year paid by people who cannot afford to pay extra, simply because they do not have a buffer. $8,000 changes all of that. With $8,000 liquid, you negotiate from a position of security. You can absorb the car repair without interest. You can cover a deposit. You buy in bulk. You stop paying the premium for being broke. Your first action, open a high-yield savings account. That is an account that pays you interest, typically 4 to 5% per year, just for holding money there, and make $8,000 your first hard target. Not retirement, not investing. This number first. Habit 2, the car financing math bomb. Here's a number most people never calculate. If you finance a $30,000 car today, you're not losing $30,000. You're potentially losing $148,000. Here's how that works. When you take out a car loan at 6% interest over 60 months, you will pay roughly $5,000 in interest on top of the purchase price. That is $35,000 out of your account. But that is not the real cost. The real cost is the compounding you lost. If instead of making those car payments averaging around $580 per month, you had invested that money into an index fund earning 7% annually over 30 years, that $580 per month becomes approximately $700,000. And if you had simply bought a reliable used car for $8,000 and invested the difference, the gap between those two decisions stretches to over $100,000 in net worth. The habit that keeps beginners broke is not buying cars. It is financing cars they cannot actually afford while telling themselves the monthly payment is manageable. The payment feels manageable. The lost compounding is invisible. Compounding means your money earns returns, and then those returns earn returns. The earlier and more consistently you let money grow, the more aggressively it multiplies over time. Your action for this habit: identify any financed vehicle or financed item you currently own. Calculate what the monthly payment actually costs you over the full loan term, then ask whether what you financed was worth that total number. Habit 3. The retirement spending multiplier. Most beginners think about retirement in terms of how much they are saving. Very few think about it in terms of how much they are spending, which is the number that actually determines when you can stop working. The rule here is called the 25 times rule. It states that to retire, you need 25 times your annual spending saved and invested. That is because a well-managed investment portfolio can safely withdraw 4% per year without depleting itself, meaning if you have 25 times your expenses, that 4% covers your lifestyle indefinitely. Run the math. If you spend $8,000 per month, your annual spending is $96,000. Multiply that by 25 and you need $2,400,000 saved to retire. Now here's the part most beginners miss. If you cut your monthly spending by $1,000, just $1,000, your annual spending drops to $84,000. Your retirement target becomes $2,100,000. You just shaved $300,000 off the number you need to accumulate simply by reducing $1,000 per month from your lifestyle. That is the retirement spending multiplier. Every dollar you permanently cut from your monthly expenses reduces your retirement target by $300. Not just saves you $12 per year, reduces the mountain by $300 per dollar removed. Your action: write down your current monthly spending. Identify one recurring expense of $500 or more that you could reduce or eliminate. Run the math on what that saves in retirement target, not just monthly savings. If this is already reshaping how you think about money, the subscribe button is right there. Every week on The Vault, this is what we do: real numbers, real math, real steps. Hit it now and you will not miss the next one. Habit 4. Skipping the lifestyle upgrade stress test. This habit is the one that quietly resets financial progress for millions of people. You work hard, you save a little, your income grows, and then you upgrade. New car? Bigger apartment? Better phone plan? Nice gym membership? None of those upgrades are wrong by themselves. The problem is upgrading before you're actually ready. Here is Zero's stress test. Before any major financial commitment, a new lease, a financed vehicle, a significant subscription, ask yourself one question: if something unexpected cost me $8,000 tomorrow, could I handle it without going into debt or wiping out my savings? $8,000 is not a random number here. It covers most real-world financial emergencies: a major car repair, a sudden medical bill, a job transition, a broken appliance in a new apartment, 1 month of full expenses while looking for work. If you cannot absorb $8,000 of unexpected cost right now without financial panic, your lifestyle is ahead of your financial foundation. The habit that keeps beginners broke is not spending money. It is expanding lifestyle commitments before the foundation is solid. Every upgrade that outpaces your financial cushion makes the next emergency more expensive. Your action: before your next financial commitment over $300 per month, run the stress test. Answer honestly. If the answer is no, hold the upgrade. Habit 5. Having no actual action plan. The fifth habit is the one that ties all the others together. Most beginners read about money, think about money, feel guilty about money, and then do the same thing they did last month. They have awareness without a sequence. They know the habits are wrong, but have no ordered plan for which one to fix first. Here is the sequence that works. First, build to $8,000 in a high-yield savings account before anything else. Do not invest heavily. Do not upgrade your lifestyle. Do not pay off extra debt until you have this number. It is your foundation. Without it, every other financial step is fragile. Second, identify the one financed item in your life with the highest interest rate. If it is above 10%, your next priority after the $8,000 fund is eliminating that item. That 10% interest rate is a guaranteed loss on every dollar you carry. No investment reliably beats it. Third, run the retirement spending multiplier on your current monthly expenses. Find one expense of $500 or more to cut permanently. Update what your retirement target looks like after that cut. The smaller the target, the shorter the path. Fourth, apply the stress test to every major upgrade decision from this point forward. $8,000 liquid before any significant lifestyle expansion. Fifth, automate the savings. Set up an automatic transfer to your high-yield savings account the same day your income arrives, not after bills, not what is left over. First, even if it is $50 per week, the habit of paying yourself first before any discretionary spending is the foundation of every other financial habit on this list. Here's what most personal finance content skips. $8,000 is not just an emergency fund number. It is a psychological threshold. Studies on financial stress consistently show that below roughly $8,000 to $10,000 in accessible savings, people make measurably worse financial decisions. They take higher-risk shortcuts. They avoid looking at bank balances. They defer problems instead of solving them, which makes every problem more expensive. This is not a willpower issue. It is a cognitive load issue. When you're financially vulnerable, your brain is partially occupied by threat monitoring, constantly scanning for what could go wrong. What bill is coming? What would happen if the car breaks down? That cognitive load crowds out long-term thinking. Above $8,000, that load lifts, people negotiate better. They take more time before decisions. They are more likely to comparison shop, more likely to read contracts, more likely to say no to a bad deal. The $8,000 rule is not just about having money. It is about having enough security that your brain can work properly on financial decisions. Every habit on this list gets easier to break once that number is hit, not because of the money itself, but because of what that money does to your decision making. If you're starting from zero right now, here's your first move, not 5 moves. Calculate how long it will take you to save $8,000 at your current savings rate. If you save $300 per month, that is roughly 27 months. If you can find $500 per month between cutting expenses and directing any extra income, that is 16 months. That number, whatever it is for you, is your horizon. Write it down. Put it somewhere you see daily. Before you invest, before you upgrade, before you make any other financial commitment, $8,000. That is the unlock. That is the number that breaks the poverty premium, passes the lifestyle stress test, gives you negotiating power, and shifts your financial decision-making from defensive to strategic. The 5 habits in this video cost the average person far more than $8,000 per year. Breaking them does not require a high income. It requires a sequence and the discipline to follow it in order. Here is the one thing to carry out of this video. $8,000 does not just protect you from emergencies, it changes how you make every financial decision after you have it. Pick one habit from this video and make one specific change this week. Not all 5, 1. The sequence matters more than the speed. Next video, we are breaking down exactly how to build your first $8,000 faster than you think, even on a modest income. Watch it next.